54, no 38, undecided 8. So if you want to keep that high tax, you vote yes. If you want to eliminate that high tax, you vote no. Next. Healthcare Research and Prevention Tobacco Tax Amendment. Now, this is one where the polls show 59% yes, no 36, undecided 10. And this tax amendment would increase the tax on cigarettes by $2 a pack. I think it's 54 cents now.
Okay.
What is it? 87. So basically what it is that the idea that let's gain more revenue and stop more people from smoking. So those for this want to raise it for those reasons. Those against it say another tax will not save lives but give more to government programs who waste the money. Also, do we really want to encourage another underground economy? And what they mean by this, anytime you raise taxes too high, what happens?
Underground.
You have a black market. People figure out how to get around it. And so they say that's what's going to happen. There'll be a black market and there'll be this underground black market. And what happens with that is the criminal element get into it and they get rich and people get hurt. So the supporters for this are the Democratic Party, California School Board Association. $17 million has been raised for it. Against it, California Republican Party. And guess what? Philip Morris and all of the tobacco companies are against it. And the conservative California Republican Assembly is against it. And guess what? $35.5 million has been put into opposing it. Guess by who?
Morris.
Tobacco companies. Next. Proposition 57, reform of juvenile court proceedings and sentencing. Now, this is a very controversial Governor Brown initiative. And he wants to decrease the number of people that are in prison. Remember I talked to you about the issue of unfairness among certain minorities being put into jail at a felony rate and stuff? This touches on that. So what this measure does, it increases the chance for a parolee for nonviolent offenders, establishes judges and not prosecutors as the deciding factor in trying juveniles. And what it says is too many, especially juveniles, are in prison. We need to change how we handle criminals. And those against it say it's a constitutional amendment. Now, when it's a constitutional amendment, it basically will never be changed. And they're saying there's too many flaws in this law, and if we learn what the flaws are, we'll never be able to change it. So even if you like the idea, it's poorly written, and also it's going to release the wrong people. Some very bad people will be released. So those supporting it are Governor Brown, Gavin Newsom, the California Democratic Party. They spent $7.5 million. Opponents are the California Republican Party, California Republican Party, California Republican Assembly, and I gotta tell you, I've had so many people in law enforcement come up to me and tell me why they're afraid about this. But so far, 0 against it. Next. 58. Back in 1998, voters passed Proposition 227. And what it did is they said it solved a problem because too many kids were not learning English, they were going to school and learning in their own language. So what this does, it repeals the law that said kids have to learn things in English. So if you like the idea that kids, whether they're from China or Mexico or wherever, that they have to learn in English, if you like that, you're going to want to vote no. If you think it's okay that they be able to learn in their native language, then you would want to vote yes on this. Now, when this was passed, most educators I know said they liked the outcome that the kids succeeded better by learning English and integrating with society. But there are some who say that was not the case. And so with this, it's become a pretty controversial issue. So Those for it say there's an incredible diversity in the U.S. We should encourage students to learn to be proficient in more than one language. Those against it say, no, kids do better to integrate if they learn English. And besides, if a parent wants to right now, let's say somebody wants their child to learn Chinese right now, they can petition to do so. Now the supporters for that, this one, to say yes, is California Democratic Party, California Teachers Association, SEIU, 814,000 for this. Those against it, California Republican Assembly, California Republican Party, California Federation of Republican Women, 0 money so far for this. Next. Overturn Citizens United Act. This is the most ridiculous, in my opinion, ballot issue, because if you vote yes, it means nothing. If you vote no, it means nothing. It's just an opinion. You see, back, I think it was 2008, some corporate money helped fund Citizens United movie that was against President Obama, candidate Obama at that time. And so they were told that they could not show that movie because they got some corporate money. Well, they went to court, and the court said, hey, that's free speech. You should be able to show that movie despite who donates to it. So that was Citizens United. And those for it say there's too much money in politics, corporations are injecting too much money to buy a vote. Those against it say free speech, the First Amendment allows people and business owners to donate, and more individuals can participate through independent PACs and force incumbents to fight harder for their careers. Those for this are Congressman Ted Lieu, California Democratic Party, and the San Francisco Chronicle. 77,000 has gone into it. Conservative California Republican Assembly, the liberal Los Angeles Times, and the moderate conservative San Diego Union Tribune are all opposed to it. Next. Condoms and Pornographic Films Initiative. Now, this is a little bit redundant because LA County passed this a couple of years ago. But this is for statewide. And basically what this says is that those in the porno industry need to be forced to have their actors have condoms. And so we got to set up a bureaucracy funded by the taxpayers to watch the porno to make sure that they got the condom. So if you vote for this, you're saying you want the bureaucracy to watch the condoms. Voting against it says this law expands government bureaucracy, costs taxpayers more money, and expands the nanny state. Those for it are the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, the California State Association of Occupational Health Nurses. So far, 2.2 million have gone into it. Those against it, the California Democratic Party and the California Republican Party, the Conservative California Republican Assembly, and the California Libertarian Party. 271,000 against it. Next. Here is maybe one of the most advertised and marketed ones, and it seems very confusing. And so let me talk about price fixing for the pharmaceutical industry. The national government has special prices from the pharmaceuticals to get lower prices. California doesn't have that. And so what this does is says it prohibits agencies from paying more for drugs than the lowest price paid by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. And in a sense, it's going to force the pharmaceuticals to pay a certain level. Well, the fear has been by the vet groups that if this passes, then the national pharmaceutical prices will change because the pharmaceuticals can't afford to make all these changes state by state by state. So all of a sudden, all the vet groups are saying, hey, we don't believe in the price fixing, let the market work. So those for this say, for vets and certain needy, they need to pay the lowest price for medication. Those against it say it has an unintended consequence that will actually make things worse. So those for it are the California Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders, and Al Sharpton. $9.5 million for it. Those against it, California Republican Party, Conservative California Republican Assembly, and National Federation of Republican Women, $86 million against it. Guess where the money is coming in against this? The pharmaceuticals. Next. Proposition 62. There's two things on the ballot on the death penalty. And incidentally, I gotta tell you, it is really a shame that we got 17 issues on the ballot, and you're sitting here listening to 17. But that's because the politicians look at different interest groups to get them to the polls in November. And so many of these, they didn't want to put them in June. They strategically wanted them in November. That's how it happened. So, abolish the death penalty. So, what this says, it repeals the death penalty and applies retroactively to persons already sentenced to death. Those for this say it's broken and it's immoral to do the death penalty. Those against it say, yeah, the death penalty is broken, we can fix it. The main thing about the death penalty is a deterrent and could save some lives. So if you're for the death penalty, you should vote for this. If you're, I'm sorry, wait, no. If you're for the death penalty, you want to vote yes.
No.
This one is if you are for the death penalty, I'm sorry, if you're, how embarrassing, it's the first time I've done that. Thank you guys.
Confusing.
So, if you're against the death penalty, you need to vote yes. If you're for the death penalty, you need to vote no. Okay? So, there's another death penalty one coming up that could cause this one to be of no effect. The people who are for yes, which is to abolish the death penalty, are the California Democratic Party, California Democratic elected officials, and Bernie Sanders. 4.8 million. Those against it are so many district attorneys and sheriffs throughout California, the California Federation of Republican Women, Conservative California Republican Assembly. 3.9 million are those who say vote no on this. Next.